Hey guys, welcome in to episode 15 of Coffee and Chel. I'm Cameron Halbert, joined by my co-host Queso Paguni, and as always, we will start with the rundown of Queso's life over the last week. What you been up to, my man?
Dude, as you know, man, we got the puppy back.
Yep.
It's been fun. The house is full again. We gave her away twice. It wasn't ours originally. The puppy wasn't ours originally, but she's come back to our home twice now. So she's here to stay. And then Sleeves, if you've been watching football today, my Steelers,
Dude,
knock on wood, are in the playoffs.
that's wild. I can't believe that they actually snuck in.
I can't believe it, man. I had a good feeling about the Jags like winning, just because you never know, divisional football stuff can happen. But I was so worried watching the Steelers game. Like, I can't believe they're in the playoffs. I thought they were for sure out, like after that tie to the Lions earlier in the year.
Yeah,
But get to watch some playoff football. Big Ben's last year. It's exciting.
that is pretty sweet. I'm excited to see the Patriots back in the playoffs. It's been awfully tough watching them go through their rebuild.
Yeah. Their 1 year rebuild. Where they just didn't make the playoffs for 1 year. Yeah,
It's been tough
must
on
be
us
nice.
Patriot fans.
Yeah, dude, you have to be a little worried though. Like, the team hasn't been looking too good like the
It's
last
not, dude.
five
I'm
games.
not gonna lie. Like they went on a magical run, I believe, of like 7 straight games where they were dominating, and I still did not feel that it was like they were like back to their normal selves. And yeah, I don't know. Their first round match will be interesting. We'll see how they do. It's definitely not. Dude, Brady broke his passing yard record at 44 years old. Like that's just simply incredible. Like
Yeah, 5,300 yards this year or something
like
passing. It
I get
makes
it's
no
18
sense.
games, but like or yeah, I guess it's
17,
17
17
games,
games,
18
18
weeks.
game. Yeah.
I like, but still, like he's 44. Like,
Could you imagine if like Crosby was out there putting up like 150 points in 8 years? Like
I
it would make sense, right? Like at 44.
no, it's just absurd. But
Yeah.
all right, so let's get into Hockey Ultimate Team, our forte on this show, and we got a new event. So Team of the Year has come and gone. Did you end up making a new Team of the Year, guys? By the way.
I made three of them. I made Hedman, Fox, and Rantanen, and then I bought McDavid because we were talking last week. You said the McDavid's the best card in the game. Bought McDavid with coins. Sold a
How
lot of my
much
players.
was that, brother?
1.6 million.
That's really, I thought, well, okay. That's about
Yeah.
right. I
So
thought it'd be two,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. So my thinking is, if I decide to sell him in a month,
Yeah.
I think his price will go up. So
I
maybe
do
it's
as
a
well.
rental. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do
Yeah.
as well. I got I got the exact same actually. Fox, Hedman, Rantanen, and McDavid. Kind of regretting Fox. Not gonna
Me
lie.
too. 100%.
He does not feel like Makar last year. It just does not. I think I don't know if he needed like truculence or smaller defensemen need something to or bouncer. I think there's one where it's like where they bump off the puck really well. I think it might be truculence. It might be truculence.
Truculence is like the hitting one. Bouncer is the one with like the stick tie ups and stuff in front.
Yeah. Okay. So it's something else then. Yeah. Like I just think he needs something. His speed is unbelievable, but I just
Yeah.
don't think the game like there's very many instances where you go end to end with a defenseman. Like if you're able to do that, you're probably not playing someone like among like the top tier. And not
Mhm.
to mention, we got to talk about this event because we got a brand new event, Style Icons 2.0. Card art is phenomenal. And we got our 4 master sets for week 1. We got Chikrin from the Coyotes. We got Price. We got Tyler Seguin. And then for the 3rd straight year, my Sharks got Eric Carlson, which I was streaming the release of the event, and I voiced my immense displeasure. I cannot believe, like, I feel like every event there's been some heavy criticism on the card choices, the masters, and there's really no debating. Like Carlson has some pretty cool style, like so I understand this one, like it
Yeah,
makes
for
sense.
sure.
But last year, like as a Shark fan, the last 3 Hockey Ultimate Team games, we've really only gotten Burns or Carlson, and I know a lot of people will be like, "Yo, we got Goudreau last year. He wasn't a Shark." So like while they gave him a Shark NHL moment, and I love but it wasn't like he was a household name. And while I do like Barkley Goodrow, he really had one big moment for the Sharks. And we've only got Carlson. And if you're a Sharks fan, you're not a huge fan of Erik Karlsson. It's not like we got the Ottawa Senator version. Like he is
Yeah, just because since he's joined the team, it's not like the team's had success.
exactly
Right?
like he has not been very good at all, and he is going to hamstring that franchise for a long time. I will say this: he's much better this year than he has been probably ever as a Shark. But it's just. Man, I think it's kind of inexcusable at this point. Like there's been no Couture, no Hurdle, no Meyer. I really don't understand that, and just sucks because I know I'm not going to get a Shark Master Set player for the rest of the year. Maybe one other one that's like a headshot, in the summer or whatever. But the Sharks just don't get a lot because they're not a frontline team. So they're probably not going to get double Master Set players. So really disappointed in that one. But let's talk about the 4 that were released, and then we'll get into some other stuff in a little bit. But among the 4, did you check them all out? What ones were your favorite? What ones are you avoiding?
I am avoiding all of them with the exception. So I'm still waiting to see the ones that come out right. But I think that Carey Price, because you're able to get a free one once you play for a week, meet the certain objectives.
True.
I'm thinking that Carey Price might be the best one. And that's just because what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, gold post to post. And then he has silver light work, which is kind of crazy that, in my opinion, that's the second best goalie X Factor, that they would give him that as well. It almost doesn't seem fair.
It is pretty nuts combo. I will say this, good on them for coming back after Team of the Year. It's always tough to follow up one of the best events with a banger event where they redid the everyone gets a free master icon. I think that's a great job, and they did finally nail the format of you get an 86 out of the set, but then you pack the big ones, and it's not like they're separate cards like they were at the Hut Roots event, or Hockey Roots event. So they finally flushed out that system. What we were saying is that you should be able to pull the highest one, and then if you want to make if you're free to play, something like that. I really do enjoy that. I think that that's the perfect format for events. I still think that with X Factors, they should just always be able to be upgraded. If the tier system is going to be in place, I think they should match up with whatever the highest card is out there. It just makes more sense, especially because they are expensive. But nonetheless, I will disagree that I think the only one that's viable is Carey Price. While he does look amazing, I'm always very tentative to spend $300 or $400K on a goaltender or recommend it because I've just been burned by so many times when I go. I mean, Koskinen looks amazing, and not that Koskinen's bad, but he is nowhere near what he should be. So it's just it's always hit or miss. I will say this, that the X Factor Carey Price has been incredible still. My favorite goaltender I've used this year. And just looking on paper, that 94 Carey Price does look to be the best one. It kind of makes me think that I haven't checked. I don't know if you have a console on. I'd love to see if Carey Price's X Factor eventually gets light work.
Don't know if it does. I have it pulled up. I'll be the color commentator.
Perfect. So if anyone
right here while you talk for a second.
For anyone that doesn't know, guys, you can go and look at the offline rosters, the default ones, and go and take a look at each player's individual X factors, and they match up to what ends up being unlocked in Hut. So players like Jake Gensel, for example, the reason why his X factor is so just kind of forgotten about isn't he's not all that spectacular, but he doesn't get any good X factor zone abilities or superstar abilities, for example. So some do down the line. I don't think
McDavid does not get light work.
Okay, that's interesting. That's good to know because I've thought about upgrading him to 94. It's interesting. So I'll say this: I think that center has been the weakest position it's ever been in Hockey Ultimate Team, in the sense that there's no god tier centerman.
And there haven't been any release with gold quick draw either, which I've been surprised. I thought that would be one where they try to I wouldn't mind seeing a bigger center released, maybe not the fastest, but like a Jason Arnott or something, right, with gold quick draw, like an event card or something like that. Just the reason to use that ability. Right now we only have Ryan O'Reilly and I think Newendike that has it as an icon. There aren't too many.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of the quick draw.
So unless you have your point, centers being kind of weak, unless you did the team builder set and you have the Zetterberg, there aren't a lot of good centers right now.
Even Zetterberg shouldn't be as good as he is. I think there's something just different about that card. I don't know what it is, but he's not it's not like he's the best build for center. His stats and attributes are, and the way that he plays is very good, and his shot seems to be automatic. But he's only 6 foot. Like, you want big centermen, and there just hasn't been like that one where it's like, wow, okay. And Tyler Sagan's card looks to be, right now, in my opinion, on paper, the best center in the game right now. He's 6'1", I believe. So just an inch bigger, but he's got great speed. He's faster than Zetterberg. His shot, everything defensively, he's all good. The only thing, I think he has 91 faceoffs with Thief as opposed to 99, but that's kind of negligible. Just so he looks to be the best center. So I think that he will always have a place. The thing I will say is that no matter what, I'm big on getting centermen that at some point are fast enough to play the wing, because then at least it gives you some lineup flexibility as you go down. Whereas, guys that are pure wingers, they're really stuck there. On the other side, we can talk about Chikrin. I think Chikrin is the second best one. But the problem is that, again, we're talking like the Hut-Rich guys or the guys with God Squads. He's not going to replace, he's not going to start above Clefbaum. He's not going to start above Hedman. He's not going to start above Gonchar. So if you have two of those, that's your third pairing. Like, I think he is the replacement for Byram. If a lot of people are I'm still using Byram.
Yeah, I am too, and I've been considering getting rid of him.
Yeah,
for some other reasons, but like he could be a replacement there.
I think that would be Chikrin would be the replacement there. And then the problem with Carlson, I think his build is fine. The issue is that if you've got Fox Team of the Year, you don't want to have two. I would not want to. Again, I'm talking about like playing competitively. We're min maxing here, and my whole channel is built on like just like trying to help players do better. So you wouldn't want to have multiple smaller options on one side. So like if you have Team of the Year Fox, I wouldn't really want to go out and get Carlson too, because here's the example that I'm in. So if you have Shea Weber, for example, he's not going to start above Shea Weber. Shea Weber's just a very, very good defensive card in this game. He's not going to start above Team of the Year Fox, because Fox's stats just seem to be a bit better. I guess he could technically.
Yeah, I mean, he's an inch taller. So,
it's the problem with the cost, though. It's like it's like draft capital, like in real sports. Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like contract keeps him in.
The thing is, do you really want to put those kind of coins or collectibles or whatever you're using to build the Carlson or even buy the Carlson?
Yeah,
he's going to be on the second or third pair.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly, right?
Point. Yeah.
And then my issue is that I'm not going to get another Shark Master item, so the player I'm going to have to replace is the X Factor Dougie Hamilton. And
there's no
I'm gonna do it, but I really don't want to do it. Like I preach that you should always use the players that like are among your favorite, and I guess technically Eric Carlson is not among my favorite, but he's like the only Shark I'm gonna get. So, now let's discuss the other Master Set items in this event, because for the 15th time in this game, they leaked their own event stuff. And what else is new, right? Like, if for anyone that was not paying attention, they everything looks okay. They released the event, but then when you go into collections and look at the event collection, for the first hour of the event, Matthew Barzal's face was the thumbnail, and he was not among the ones released.
Yeah.
So, whoops. So Matthew Barzal, 100% confirmed for the next event. And taking a look at his X Factor and his highest rated card, he is probably going to be the one that you'd want to make if you were going to make one. Because he looks like... The thing is that I think his X Factor is probably better than... Like, I think if you have his 89 X Factor, making his X Factor go from 89 to 94 is going to be better, because at some point, I think... I've been looking into this... Eventually, they unlock, like, I think it's 15 synergies. Every player... So, at some point, he's going to get a skating synergy. And then he's maxed.
That's what people were saying, because they were able to figure out, like, what gets unlocked based on the current synergies that they have, right?
Yeah.
So, and I also think another reason for his X Factor is I played against a lot of people that had him earlier on, and like the gold elite edges on that Barzal card was kind of ridiculous.
I'm big on elite edges now, and I got rid of Barzal because he didn't do well at the beginning of the season, and my team just got so much better. Like I couldn't keep I got rid of him because I packed him tradable. So I'm probably going to buy his X Factor card, or maybe just get the 94. I don't know. We'll just see what it comes with, but he's gonna have like 97 speed. Which is wild. And if he comes with Thief, which I think he would have to, because he's going to have multiple synergies, you could play him at center too. Like I think his face-off rating will get up high enough, like 85, 86 range, which I think is still okay. So that'll be interesting. I think he's probably going to be the one that would be the best. There is some other so they released objectives that you've got to complete.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Yeah, and Reddit again, appreciate the boys on Reddit for letting us post here and not flaming us for posting the podcast on Reddit. There was a thread that kind of someone went in to deep dive on what the objectives were worth, and it looks like Zdeno Chara is one of the guesses. And
I saw that one, yeah.
again, so I've talked about this a couple times in the podcast with Nick or Shadow moving on from the content side, and the new guys coming onto the team, they're very, very in tune with the game and meta, which is why we have such even cards throughout. Like, every event has been very, very even. Like, they almost seem like scared to make a card too good. It's been very rare. And if Zdeno Chara is in fact an option, I'm willing to bet that his speed does not touch 88.
So whenever people would mention that it could be Chara, I think going off what his base attributes are, his speed should be around like 86, right? Like whenever he gets upgraded to a 94 overall, which is fine. Like he's 6'9", you don't need that. So I would wonder if they gave him like a speed or excel synergy.
Okay, so remember the beginning of the year? Remember the beginning of the year when like Hedman's X Factor came out and that 88 came out? And there was like this time before his team of the year where it was like he just seemed too slow.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like, do you think that Zdeno Chara, even though he was like the GOAT among Hockey Ultimate Team for years, do you think that like if he came out and he was 86, let's say he's 88.
Okay, 88 speed, I'm making him immediately. I'm selling my fantasy McCann that I've been holding on to, and I'm replacing whoever I have on my right side.
It's true, I guess. Shot. Like,
it would also depend on abilities too, right?
I would bet they'd be giving Thunderclap or something that's like less.
They would have to. If he came out and he had like shutdown, it would be
no shot, right? Bro. Like, I think that they made a mistake with Team of the Year Hedman on that. Like, I don't think they realized what that was.
That Team of the Year Hedman they made, I want to talk about it later in the podcast. After playing with him for a week, it's the most broken card.
It's nuts, man.
It's been in the game.
It is. It is wild.
Yeah. So I think if there was like an 88 Excel like Chara, 100% make him.
I think I would have to make him too. That he's so like it's
so ridiculous. Like, or if he had truculence.
If he had truculence, I don't even know if that'd be viable because he'd probably get a penalty every single time he hit somebody.
Probably would, right?
It would probably be a penalty like every single hit. There were a couple other guesses. I think Sean Monahan was one.
Fleury was one of them too for the 51 wins. I think it was one of the years with Vegas. He had like regular season and playoff wins combined. He had 51 wins.
Something like that. Yeah. Now the Monahan one would be kind of interesting to me because they don't usually double up team masters, and they've already had Rasmus Anderson. And
do they? So I the only counter I have to that, and it's a do you mean in the current
game?
So the only counter I have to that, right, is I think the Penguins have had 3 so far, right? They have Crosby, Malkin, and then they had a Yager, which I think technically counts as a Penguins one.
Yeah, he was a Penguin
from that first. But then again, they're also one of the more popular franchises whenever it comes to like this kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right, and I have to be honest. Like, again, the new content team, it makes it a little bit difficult. I know, just like from like the years of like being a game changer and talking to Nick, I know that he didn't like to. I know that they have to make it balanced. I know they have like a sheet and they go through it and they're like, hey, this team, which is, so I'm not really sure, but I guess it's possible. Monahan's such a weird one though. Like,
it really is, because it's like. I haven't followed much hockey in the past couple of years. It seems like he's taken kind of a decline from where his potential was. I could be speaking out of turn. So it's just not like a good choice. One of the other ones, because the Chara one was tied to the hits. I think it was like 223 hits. The other 3 was like Ovechkin, because he had a hit total that matched that, but he's already had an MSP, right?
Did he?
Has Ovechkin had I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't think so, man. No, he hasn't had an MSP.
So if he hasn't had one, he had a style icon last year.
If he gets one, it can't be him actually. I mean, I guess there's 8 technically because Barzal's listed as a center, so there hasn't been a right-handed winger then. So yeah, I guess like.
Yeah, the hits one was it was weird because like
I thought Chikrin had. Oh no, the lower total. I think Chikrin was at like. Yeah. Okay.
And then there were like combative hits totals for the Chara one. Like one site had him at like a different number than the other one. So it'll be.
Yeah, I don't think those ones are confirmed. Like those ones were just speculation, guys. But Barzal is 100% going to be confirmed. So, we'll find out. And you can't really make your free master until that anyways because you have to wait the
Yeah,
7
and
days.
they
So
timed it out kind of well, right? With
yeah,
that, so that was good.
exactly.
There was one more important thing from the event sleeves that we have to talk about.
Lay it on me.
And we were just talking before the podcast, guys, before we started recording, and Sleeves didn't realize this. This is something that I knew that the Face of Hut didn't know.
I did
so
not.
gotta
The Face of Hut was not paying attention.
So some of the some of the event cards that got released, there was a 90 Ronick and there was a 90 Bourrier Salming.
Yep.
Their power up icons actually increased to match their highest in form. So Jeremy Roenick, I think, was an 84 overall. His power up icon, whenever the game came out, he should only be like an 87 or 88. You can now upgrade him to a 90 to match his new event card that came out. So I'm interested to see. And oh, by the way, they didn't really tell anybody this. I thought that was the funny part of it.
Classic EA, man. Like, not even like. I get maybe not tweeting about it. Okay. Yeah. And I even maybe get not making a banner. But, like, dude, they don't even tell the game changers. Like, I had no idea, man. And I live on this game. It is my job, basically. So, it is my job. So,
it is your job.
I was stuck because I have not paid attention, guys, to the icons for a reason. The format this year is very lazy. And there's only, like, 4 that were viable or worth it. So a couple things here. I think this is accurate. I think this is good. I think this is what they should have done at the beginning of the year. Here is the issue. We have zero predictability of when these will be upgraded or released. So it is complete guesswork. Like if you went out and bought, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Cornway would be a great one. So Cornway has like insane speed, and I'm pretty sure he has like no agility, like he can't turn, or maybe that's Gartner. I think it's one of I can't remember, but like, so if you had one of those, and like with the thought like, oh, he's gonna get an upgrade at some point, there's no way to tell. Like last year when they did the silver and gold, at least you knew, like it was gonna be even-ish, and it was predictive. This way is really unfortunate in the sense that they are just gonna, all right, today we feel like upgrading Howard Chuck or St. Louis, and it's like, ugh. So, I mean, with that being said, I still don't know what that really changes.
I don't think it changes anything
because the cost is still quite a bit. Like, you know, Lemieux and Gretzky. What would change is if they made an icon set. If they made a set. Like to actually make icons, which I thought was going to come. Like I thought was being added to the game, and it just hasn't.
One thing we don't know too is like now that Ronick's a 90, whenever the overall increases next month, will he go to a 91 or will he still be what he was supposed to be? Like,
brother, I'd love to tell you, but it's not like they told us anything. So
yeah, and I also, like you said, I don't think it changes anything, right? Because I think to get Ronick up to that, you probably have to spend a lot of coins or a lot of power-up collectibles, or you could just go get his 90 that's probably cheap.
Yeah, it's not going to be all that expensive, especially with sets and whatnot. 90s are now are the cheapest value in the game because 88, 89 is probably, but whatever is right above the highest minimum set thing. So like 80, they finally put 88s in the game. An 88 plus set, so like 89s are going to be cheap.
They did that this past set?
Yeah, they put 88 in for 6 collectibles as opposed to 5 for the 87.
That's good.
Yeah, like that was nice that we finally did that. So it increased the cost. I'm probably, like I said, I'm probably just going to make, but just to kind of end this event. We did get a Matthews. Dude, Matthews is just, he's having such a great year. It's reminding me of like Draisaitl. Like he's just not
he's not getting anything, and it's so weird.
And his card, right? So what I was talking about at the beginning of this episode, that there isn't like elite centers that are like, wow, gotta have. And it's because they're, again, the people in power understand that like you can't have a big centerman that's fast. So they're like Draisaitl and Matthews are really slow in the sense of, again, I'm comparing this to the other cards that are available. So like wingers are very quick now. We're getting up there. You know, we're getting up there. But like Matthews and Draisaitl are very slow in comparison. Like 91 is the fastest you can get them up to. Well, it's still fine. And center is not a position where you need speed. I think it's the one where you can get away with it. It's just like, again, there isn't any center that is like, wow, this is incredible. Like Zetterberg is, in my opinion, now Sagan. But a lot of people will probably play Sagan on the wing. I still think they probably will.
And the cool thing about now that Matthews got like another upgrade, his X factor, most people have that X factor, right? We were talking about not a lot of good centers. He has Thief, and he can get Heart and Soul on 2 separate synergy slots. I believe. So I don't know what his face-offs go up to. I think it's at least like 90, 91, 92 maybe. So he's one of the best centers if you use those two
No
slots on
skating
like
sin on
Thief.
that one, right?
I
His X
don't know if
factor
they're
has distributor. His first one is all speed. It's
okay.
like all like
Then you have
skating.
speed. Then you have speed,
Yep.
Thief, and then you can have like Heart and Soul, right? Aren't there three slots?
Not until he gets to tier 12. Here's
Okay,
another
tier
issue is
12.
that because they gave him an event card and not a prime time or team of the week, is I think he has to get his next team of the week in prime time before he gets his next upgrade.
Jesus.
It's very annoying. Like
We upgraded him all the way to 91 literally like the
the
second day the game
first,
came
yeah,
out, and
exactly. No upgrades since. It's just annoying. Like that one, him and Drysaddle, but Drysaddle made sense and like it was predictive. You could tell that like when they announced the IHF thing, it's like okay, they're holding off and finding ways to just completely ignore the fact that Drysaddle's putting up 5-point games and whatnot. It's like clearly he's getting an X factor or a master set. Do you think that those odd choices for master set players is because of the X factors? Because X Factors are essentially master set players.
They kind of started doing that last year, though. Like, there were some weird choices for MSPs, right? Like, you had the
There
Moments one
was.
with Goodrow, but there were a lot of weird choices. This year, it's even more off the wall. Like that Brandstrom one sticks out to
That
me.
one is the one that's just no,
Yeah,
even like Rasmus Anderson. Like
yeah, that one's
like
strange, right? So maybe that is their way to combat that, right? Because like the people that do have X Factors, they are going to get the informs regularly. So I'd imagine that's a good guess. I don't know. I haven't been a big fan of some of these choices.
I really don't like it. A lot of the decisions. And again, as a Sharks fan, I couldn't believe it. I was so certain they would not be Carlson.
Well, would you rather have had that or another Burns? Because I feel like we've had like five
Burns is
Burns
not a good HUD card.
MSPs. You
Like
don't think so? You don't think if he had a 94 overall card right now,
his
he wouldn't?
skating is always brutal, and I've never and his wrist shot is better than his slap shot by like
Okay.
enough margin. So it's
Well,
just a very weird build. It's a very weird build.
they've always tinkered with those releases that they've had where Burns is a forward. I forget. I think
Yeah,
one of
they
those
do that
came
every
out this
year.
year.
Yeah, they do that every
I
year.
know they should have done an MSP at some point for that instead of just having like the lower rated ones.
Yeah, I
Or
agree.
even like an out of position, like Madden has the out of position. I don't know if you can hear
I
Bella. She's like chewing on a hat. I
No, that's all
apologize.
right.
At least it's keeping her busy. Yeah, Madden has the event, which actually looks completely broken, where they'll release like players playing out of position, right? So you have like a Derrick Henry at quarterback, which I've seen videos of, and it's like a circus, and it makes no sense because he's like 99 running at quarterback. I think it could work a little bit better in hockey just because there's not that much of a difference,
I
between a
think it would
defenseman and
go
forward in
over
hockey.
really poorly because hockey's such a traditional sport. Like it's very like set in its ways. Like people don't like messing with tradition. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah. It does
I could
seem a
just
little
see
bit
that.
too. It seems like too arcadey.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
was just
sense.
thinking
Yeah.
about that, but yeah.
But yeah. So again, communication from EA and specifically Hockey Ultimate Team is just absolutely abysmal. Still, like I said, I had no idea about the Power Up icon thing. I'd be curious to see how many people actually learned about it listening to this. I'm gonna go make a video tomorrow, I guess, about it because I
Yeah,
legit
you're
had no
welcome.
idea. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah,
Um,
there you go. I
and
solved a day of work for you.
exactly. I mean, dude, let's go. And then let's go into our next issue, and that's something that is we've just kind of accepted, and that's like the syncing issues that are still happening.
Yeah, so somebody brought that up to me whenever I was streaming this week. It's like, hey, how come you and Sleeves haven't talked about the looping and the syncing issues? And I think it's almost Stockholm syndrome with us, where it's like we're so used to the issues this year. It's like I completely forgot that that's been going on for
Because
the
yeah, because
past.
the desyncing where you like kicked out of the game or in a freeze off, it was
Yeah,
like they released like a band-aid to like, and this was like the fix for it. It was like, okay, none of you will get a loss, they'll just kick you out of the game. But yeah, dude, it's been bad. Have you been getting it a lot?
yeah. So I haven't been getting it that much recently, and I think that's because I don't think people know what causes it, right? So I think it's some of the lower divisions you might experience. I think what causes it is adjusting your player synergies in the edit lines menu prior to going into a game. Not in the manage team in the main tab of HUT, but if whenever you're loading into a rivals game or a HUT champs game, if you adjust player sins, it'll cause a loop almost every time, I think. Um,
Yeah,
So
like that's what it appears to be. I've like, so guys, what he means by that is like, if you look, like, let's say you do an upgrade as well, like this would be another instance where it appears to be, we have no concrete evidence of this, but it's just what like community is on Twitch, and kind of the guys that have played this game way too much, where it seems to be happening. So if you upgrade a card, let's say you upgraded Ovechkin or something, where you unlock that like third synergy slot. When
mhm.
you unlock that third synergy slot, it doesn't automatically select the synergy. It, like, the box ungrays, but you haven't clicked it in. Even if you, even if
Hey,
you have it.
I'm gonna mute myself while you talk about
All
this. I'm
right,
gonna
sounds
let
good.
her out of the
Yes.
room. Okay.
So yeah, if you haven't actually selected it, then it'll actually grant, you actually have to go in and change the synergy, or click, like, let's say a booming shot, it unlocks on Ovechkin, and even if you have booming shot unlocked on your team, it won't automatically activate it on the card, and that's what appears to be doing that. Same with zone, or I think if you like mess around with your abilities too in that same thing, like pre-game. CJ was saying that like that might cause it too, so just be aware of that, and see if that's causing it, because yeah, I'm getting it every stream, like at least once. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. I don't think we'll get a fix for it. I don't think the game was marketed to have the augmented reality stuff, like the graphics and thing. We're not going to get that. I don't think they don't know how to fix it after that first patch. It appears, and yeah, so it just sucks.
I don't even. I'm like at a loss for words with some of this stuff because it's like, yeah, we had a feature that they put into the game with that augmented reality, like, and it actually looked cool.
It did. It did. It's not,
I
but it's
don't
not
really
like,
care about like presentation that much, but it looked cool. It
yeah.
added something to the game, and it's just like that took time, development time. They worked on that leading into this game's release. They can't even use that now. They have to spend more time looking for these issues that's causing it. It's like, what other things did we not get because of this? And then we also have a somewhat broken game now.
It's unfortunate. Now I know you went on a kind of a tirade about it, so I guess we can spend some time just discussing it about take away the issues that are in Hockey Ultimate Team that we just seem to just accept now. Like the lack of stuff is just. Let me ask you this, man. Say you didn't make content, like, say, because I know you now. I've talked to you enough. We're close enough friends that I know that you making content is because you actually enjoy the actual content part of it. Like, I know that like you like making the YouTube videos. You've done a really good job at it, and streaming. It's like it like scratches an itch, I guess.
Mhm.
But if there was no GWC, how much do you think that would impact Hut?
If there was no GWC, how much would it impact HUT? I think you would see a lot of those play, like whoever makes up the top 100 weekly in HUT champs. A lot of those guys probably wouldn't play, right? You'd have Gren, Regs, whoever else, me. I wouldn't play the mode. I would stick to online versus. I would play a few times a week. I would maybe play money games. The thing, I don't think it would impact HUT too much because I don't think the devs really care too much about that competitive side. It doesn't. They're not affiliated with the NHL in the sense that they're running the tournament. So I don't think. I think because of all of that, there's no incentive for EA to support the competitive community in the way I'm gonna say we want to be supported, right? So I'm not sure how much that would impact HUT. I know for me, I wouldn't be doing YouTube and Twitch and whatever else.
I think that if so, like, let's not just say the top 128 that qualify. There's like 500 to 1,000 hopefuls. Okay,
Yeah,
you wouldn't have the level of engagement from those 1,000 people if there
and
was
that's a lot
not
of money too. That's 4K a year from Nip and Biscuits at least, right? So
easily. And it's
easily,
like,
right?
it's just like, even just as a content creator myself, thinking back to, like, this is now, I'm entering my 5th year, so January, for actually no, that I'm entering my 6th year, I guess. Wow. I started at January 1st of 2017, and I'm trying to think of my first couple of years. Hut was like what I played, but I didn't like cover it as much
Mhm.
as I do now, and a lot of it's with the end result of people working towards GWC. And it's like, if they didn't have that, and I think EA is lucky in the sense that if they didn't have that, there's a lot of, and I'm not saying like, obviously the majority of the player base, like probably 90%, doesn't care about the GWC. Um, but the loudest people and where you get your hype online and whatnot are people that compete in the GWC or care about it. So, just unfortunate. Like I'm next year, I'll say this. So I tweeted out at the start of NHL 22 that I think, honest to God, wasn't a troll tweet, even though people try to make it a copy pasta, which is whatever. It's gonna fail. Is that I think NHL 23 will be the best NHL we've ever gotten, and the reason why is that I would be blown away if there is not cross console, but it isn't cross console that will fix NHL. Cross console allows them to implement what needs to be fixed in NHL, and that is a lack of stuff to do. So the reason why they can't have multiple modes is you can't separate an already extremely small player base. If you are cross console, your player base issues aren't really a thing anymore. Like, even in, like, February or March, there will still be enough players on Xbox and PlayStation where you could have a draft champs mode, you could have a comp season mode, you know, or online seasons or whatever you want to call it, as on top of Rivals, Rush, and Squad Battles and everything, and champs. Like, you could have that. Whereas right now, you simply cannot. Like, you just won't find it. Like, if you went to One's Eliminator right now, like, can you find, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't touched that. It's in a long time.
Yeah, like, it's just what it's like.
You know, it's so you mentioned that mode, right?
Yeah.
I think back to that mode. I think back to Rush. There's a lot of things we've been asking for. Me specifically, I've been asking for a competitive mode I can play in Ultimate Team that's on an even playing field. I'm somebody that spends money. I do well. My team's really good, right? But regardless, there's still that like competitive integrity. I don't feel good, Matt, like with my 99 overall team beating somebody with a 90. I want that draft champs like battle royale or like salary cap competitive mode in Ultimate Team. But instead, nobody asked for Hut Rush. Nobody asked for One's Eliminator. They spent this development time. They've hyped this up. These modes are going to come. They're going to go. They're going to die out. And all that time, the last few years, they could have been building up like a good structure in a good environment for their competitive community or even just general players to play the game.
Here's my like devil's advocate for
Sure, give it to me.
Is that, dude, you just described versus.
So, right, but versus GWC isn't run through versus, and not only that,
so it's all GWC based.
It's not even all GWC based. I think with MLB and you look at the battle royale mode they have in there, why would you play that if you could just play there's versus in MLB, isn't there? It's more about like the team building and strategy atmosphere of it too, which I think is cool.
I'm saying that, like, so you're looking for a competitive thing that is balanced. Wouldn't draft champs be balanced? Like, draft champs is balanced.
Oh yeah, that would have been great. It was just designed poorly and they put 2% effort into it and then they dropped the mode out of the game. If draft champs was a copy of Madden's draft champions, it would have been a great mode.
Yeah.
It wasn't. And then they removed it from the game, and then now they're at the point where they can't bring that mode back like 2 years later, 3 years later, because it just wouldn't look good on their side, right?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I would be I said this before we started. I would be blown away if we do not have another mode in Hockey Ultimate Team. Like, if it is the same cycle once again, let's say they add leaderboards in Rivals, which is something that we've all been asking for a long time, because at least that gives every game a little bit more meaning. And let's say they add in guaranteed cards, so like every week of Rivals or every 2 weeks you can earn a guaranteed card that's exclusive to it or something like that. Even if they did that, if they do not add in a mode that is different in Hockey Ultimate Team to do every week, like, it is very, very sad. I would just be like, man, like,
I just don't want them to add in something that it's not going to be as good as it can be, like the draft champs was, right? If they don't add in anything and they fix Rivals completely, because let's be honest, Rivals in its current state is like
it's much dry. No,
it's not good, and it's not good, and that's the core mode in Ultimate Team, right? So like, they have things they need to add, but what they have in the game needs fixed anyway. It's kind of in a tough state.
I'm so like sad about it because I have no faith.
Yeah,
it's funny because like you see all the guys that like used to be game changers. I'll use like Bacon Country as an example, and they're just so cynical about the game ever being fixed. And
yeah,
I've met like the developers, and it's not like they're like incompetent or like they're not trying.
Not their fault,
it is literally not like it is. it is so difficult in the gaming industry to develop a game year over year. Like, that is difficult. And when you're having to run a live game that it's currently running, because it's not like they released this game and then they all just go to the next one. They have to like still address issues in this one so that they can't spend that time on the next one. Like, it is a vicious cycle.
Yeah,
But
it's rough.
my goodness,
And
like,
every decision they make, right, is just based on the dollar value that they'll gain. So it doesn't even
it
matter.
has to. It's a business, right?
Like,
Like,
it has to get approved by, you know, Mr. Whoever that has that corner office.
That's why
just
GM
there.
Connected isn't added in. Like, you know, while everyone would love GM Connected, and it would be awesome if it was added in, and I agree, the grim reality is that after the amount of people that complained about it, no one would play it after the first month of the game. Like, as a content creator, it'd be incredible, and as a competitor,
Well,
like,
we would have, and I'm putting my name in here.
Yep.
We'd have a content creator league.
oh, and yeah, we'd have running esports events would be amazing. Like, you could
Yeah.
do seasons, all of that would be great. But people simply don't have 30 buddies that they can do. And let's say you have like even 10. You got to remember that, like, you're not a kid anymore. Back in NHL 14, everyone that missed it from NHL 14, I remember playing it in like NHL 12 and 13. And we had like 10 of us that were super committed, and we were playing like all of our games every week. And it was like a job. Like, I mean, if anyone that plays LG or knows what LG is, then that's like a job in itself. Like, that's essentially what it is. Like, you're playing multiple games a week. You've got to set aside time, and it does nothing for your Hockey Ultimate Team.
I just want to call out one thing since you brought up LG, and I have to give a shout out to Don't Be Sod. He had the single greatest tweet of all time this past week, maybe. It was like LG summed up in one sentence: a 40-year-old man yelling at me to get online before the game starts to practice. And Sod, thank you for that tweet. Made me laugh. So keep going, Sleeves.
Dude, I know, dude. If I wanted to get yelled at by a 40-year-old man to tell me to practice.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, man. But yeah, like, I just hope that, you know, so they can't add in a mode like that or spend significant resources making it, because the return would just be like a fraction of the player base would use it, right? Like, it would just be dead leagues, like a lot of them. That's not to say that a lot of people wouldn't take advantage of it. 100% they would. And again, for me,
Do you think a lot of people play One's Eliminator?
No, but a lot of people play World of Chel. Like, that's the most played mode.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I'll say this, for you talked about Hut Rush earlier. I don't know if you were in the program the first year of Rush.
I joined midsummer. After
So
you guys
we'd already known
tested
about it. So you were
You
basically
guys
like,
had
here's
known
the
about it. Yeah.
So it was put in the game to help kind of bring people over from World of Chel into Hockey Ultimate Team. And I think that it definitely feels like World of Chel. And I understand the idea, thought process behind it. I remember getting my first hand on it and seeing the slideshow and the presentation on it. I remember asking, can you play this with your buddies? And they were like, no. And I was like, what is the point?
Yeah.
If you can't play, if, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you could bring
It's
your
still
homies
not in the game.
if you could bring your homies in to play Rush, I think that could low-key be kind of fun. Like, you know, I still think that Rush should be... I like the outdoor rink and the 3-on-3 and the arcade stuff of it. I just would love it if it was like a shootout mode. Like, or first score.
Or whatever.
3-on-3 in an international rink. Like, just obnoxious stuff would be, like, put it in Rush. Like...
So all that stuff's cool, right? And I don't mind Rush. I don't play it. I don't mind it. I think it's fun whenever I have played it.
I like the guaranteed rewards immediately, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
cool, right?
Yeah.
But you know what's kind of dumb about all of it? It's all based off of this arbitrary point system that just nobody cares about, you know?
They were like, oh, do all these cool moves to score goals. It's like, no, put your CPU on rookie, do all the objectives, and then just grind online until, like, you've hit
Yeah.
It doesn't hit. And the problem is that there's no innovation. Like, you won't see an adjustment to it. Like, we won't see...
This mode's going to be removed in 2 years.
You think so?
And because they're not going to put more time or effort into it, I believe. At least I'm estimating or guessing. I think Rush will be out of Hut within 2 years.
That's interesting. I wonder. The reason why I don't think it will be is that they have a lot of stuff in Hockey Ultimate Team that is there just to say it's there. I'll give you a perfect example.
Draft Champs was though too.
Hut challenges. Those have literally been the same for 5 years, and they have not and they are
Why'd
in
you
the
bring that up? Now I'm getting angry again because I
they
remembered
are
how
in
much
the
I hate HUD
it is in the
challenges.
game to say it's in the game. The rewards are not nearly worth the time. If you were to grind them all, you would end up with like 250,000 coins. That it would take you about 45 hours.
Yeah.
So it is not nearly, and that just comes back to the issue with NHL is that there is a very, very big disconnect in the amount of time input and the results that you get from it and the rewards you get from it. They do not add up. Time input does not equal rewards output. That has always been the missing equation in Hockey Ultimate Team, is that the amount of time you put in just simply does not meet what comes out. Almost all the time, unless you have a gigantic pull, and that's all just random nonsense. Like you just, oh my god, I got a big pull. I haven't had a huge pull in forever. So
I was talking on stream. I have never, and I've been playing NHL since before a lot of people were born. I've been playing Ultimate Team since it was introduced. I've never pulled a Team of the Year, or Team of the Season card ever, and
I
it's
have not either, and I
isn't that
spend.
sad?
Dude, okay, so for anyone that didn't watch my community pack opening stream, so every Wednesday we do community packs, or if there's a big event, dude, Nippin Biscuits, shout out to Nippin, he saved up 20 ultimate packs. I think he had 17 ultimates and 3 ultimate choice packs, didn't get one. And he didn't even
Yeah.
get like a 90 plus. Like it's hilarious to me because it's Nippin, but like I actually felt bad for the kid. Like 'cause it's just like that is the best pack that you can possibly get. He saved up 20 of them, and there's guys on Reddit that got him in a
about
reroll.
it, with during that Team of the Year release, there weren't a lot of cards 90 and above that weren't the Team of the Year cards, right? So like whenever I think about it, there was one of the packs I bought. It was like I want to say a 12% chance at like a 90 plus overall card. And my thinking was that there's really no cards out besides the Team of the Years that are 90 plus. There might have been like one prime time. So I'm thinking 12%, maybe 10% chance at a Team of the Year card. No, no. Those numbers don't mean a thing.
No, it's unfortunate in that sense. Like just
Yeah.
you know,
I think Mivian's had 50 of them, by the way.
it was like a bunch of ultimate. I don't know if it was 50 ultimates,
Okay, it was 50
but it
packs.
was 50 not like premiums. Like it was like 50 like megas and all
And
that
like
stuff.
Jumbo Elite or
Yeah,
something.
didn't get one.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's just obnoxious. Like that's all. Like you know what I mean. Like that is why that is the biggest issue, the lack of guaranteed rewards in Hub. But
Yeah. There is
uh,
one thing I want to talk about
yeah,
before we get into questions and
yeah.
stuff, right? If you guys are listening or watching on your YouTube channel, Sleeves, if you guys have Team of the Year Headman, all right, whatever you do, activate Shutdown, activate 1T, and activate Seeing Eye. Those are the only 3 you
Bro,
need.
we just spent like 3 weeks saying that stuff doesn't work.
I just played Hot Champs this weekend, okay? I
One
am
T and
telling you
Seeing
right
Eye.
now.
Explain.
So 1T and Seeing Eye, right? So that's 9 points. That's 9 AP points. That's 20% of your points, okay? My first reasoning behind this is that energy's broken on defensemen. I don't know if you've seen this recently when you've been playing. My first D pair is out there for 40 minutes a game. 10 minutes into the first period, they're still green. It's insane. Like if you control the puck in the offensive zone, their energy
They don't
doesn't drain.
skate. I didn't even
They
think of
don't
that.
skate, right? They don't skate. Hedman's out there 40 minutes a game.
Huh.
I have been scoring so many D to Ds with the 1T plus the Seeing Eye activated.
Where are you aiming it, dude? Because one timers have not
I'm
gone in this
aiming
year.
low blocker. I'm aiming low blocker, and I
Wait,
also have
low
my
blocker. He's left hand.
I have him on the right side, left-handed.
Oh,
Shoot
far side.
opposite
So far side. It'd be
Far
low
side.
far side. Okay, I was thinking he
Yeah,
was
low
on the.
far
I
side,
play
yeah.
him on his correct side. Sorry. That makes sense.
He's always out on the ice. He never gets off.
Hmm.
You always have that one-timer option right there at the point. And for some reason, one-timers to the blocker side from the point or to the glove side just don't go in. So it's completely pointless to take a 1T with a right-handed defenseman from the point. I was looking at my stats. Shea Weber has 4 goals in 150 games.
Oh yeah, like I haven't scored this year has been the lowest, and I haven't seen either. So it's not like I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
D to D's used to be like a big part of my game, like last year and even the last couple of years. They just haven't gone in cleanly this year. Like the tips this
so
year,
with-
like are like insane. Like if you take a shot and there's someone in the middle that's looking, like your centerman's looking at the point, it's almost always tipped on and in the net. But I have not seen clean D to D one timers. Like I would say like one maybe every 15 games.
Yeah, they don't go in clean, right? But like as long as you have a little bit of traffic there, they've been going in a ton for me.
Interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah, the shutdown on Hedman is definitely. That's why well, we both did. Telling everyone to make Hedman, because his reach and his shutdown is with that zone ability, the gold ability is basically an auto lock, like to the puck. Like
Mm.
it's insane. And because he's so tall and he has such a long reach, that it's just when I'm going up against a Headman, like trying to get into the zone, I'm like, oh, like get me
Just
away.
dump it
Like,
in.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to get around him. So you
Yeah,
are
and
right
that
with
was one
that.
of the reasons why I regretted making Adam Fox is because he's never on the like I have him on the third pair. The third pair just never
You have him on
touches
your
the
third
ice.
pair. I guess I pair him with Headman just because
Yeah,
I think
you were
they
saying the speed, and
yeah.
I actually think it might be smart to do a. This might be a little too in-depth strategy, but like if you have like a fast like Carlson or Fox with the shooter as the left-handed shot, if you're shooting to the blocker side, always keep a fast guy on the left side. You're never going to take a one-timer from your point with a right-handed defenseman.
I have not seen that go. And it's funny because
Yeah,
Gonchar is the one that I have scored very rarely
him
with,
and
and
Hedman. Yeah,
he's left-handed, so that kind of
they
makes
don't work
sense.
on the glove side.
No, it's very weird. Yeah, like point shots are just not the same here. But no, good point. Let's do some questions. So lay them on
All
me.
right, I have it pulled up. So Texas Southpaw, dear Mr. Michigan, in the face of hot. So we've been told that the MSP artwork is done months in advance, and I've heard MSP event artwork is preloaded content.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work with Team of the Year? Do they make artwork for like 20 guys? Seeing the Eichel, Jones, and Hamilton X Factor team art update seems to show that they have some fluidity to their process. So why don't they do that for maybe one line for Team of the Season? And since Queso said he likes off-topic questions, what's your favorite toothpaste? Love the podcast.
All right, Colgate,
So
I guess would be my favorite toothpaste. I do not like cinnamon, so like
yeah,
and I don't like
we
mint. I've mentioned this before too. So I'm
yeah
not a
I
big
I
toothpaste
use
guy.
I use whatever my wife buys.
And
We have
that's
Crest
exactly what I do.
something.
Yeah.
He asked, have we tried charcoal? I have tried charcoal toothpaste. I did like it a lot. Actually, charcoal toothpaste, we had like this powdered charcoal toothpaste was really good. I almost swore there. I don't know if we could swear on the podcast. Really good. That's how excited I am about the charcoal toothpaste because that is so good. So yeah, I've tried it. You know more about the team of or the artwork and like the process of that stuff,
Yeah,
Steve.
so
So I'll let you
this
handle
year
that.
it definitely seems like they have someone or something like I don't know if it's like someone on their team or something because yeah, there does seem to be cards that are getting updated a little bit quicker. But yeah, for a lot of the events, they're just like patched into the game. So like when you see a patch and like nothing, there's no patch notes or anything. Like you see a gameplay update, more often than not, is them putting. It happens later in the year. Um, they're putting card art into the game. Like so when you see
Like
like
the
a
next wave, like maybe like the next
yeah,
three events or something.
a lot of them are planned out. So um, that's why like they can't go super far or they can't like do it very quickly. Team of the year is interesting. I would guess because that is a big marketed event. Like they send out all of those like real life like the gold skates and the helmet, all that. Like Team of the Year is a marketing event for them. I would guess that they're like, okay, a couple weeks beforehand, like here are the guys that we're gonna go with.
Mhm.
And especially this year because the break happened and COVID happened, so like there wasn't games leading up to it. So and it's only six, so like it's probably why. Or they just again they had like five for each one, and they're just like I don't know. But yeah, again, if anyone that doesn't know, like I said, so at the beginning of the launch of the game in August or September, they'll load in like the first like 5 or 6 events. They're already kind of predetermined. So
Yeah. All right. Next question. Carbonated ask, what systems do you guys play on?
I main
I
PS5. I do like Hot Wheels and stuff on my Xbox.
Yeah. I only have a PS5 now. I didn't buy the new Xbox. Don't know if I will. I used to play both consoles because of tournaments and stuff. Which I'm missing out on of the Tampa tournament now because I don't have an Xbox. But probably just sticking
Did
with
you see any
PS5.
of that, by the way?
No. Did anything exciting happen? I haven't followed it.
Bro,
I saw
HK
somebody.
got to the end against Own the Blue.
Huh?
And HK won like 1-2-0 in a best of like he knocked out Gren. Like HK is it's
Good
hilarious
for
to watch.
HK.
It
I
is.
did see Josh tweet Mister 8 or 7 goals on 8 shots, one or something.
I didn't watch all of Josh's run. It was long. For anyone that doesn't know, so the Tampa Bay Lightning are hosting the first 1v1 esports event. I will be the main host and play-by-play guy of it in Orlando. So I'll be flying out there with for the LAN that next month, as long as, knock on wood, everything is okay with COVID. And yeah, so I think the winner gets $6,000, but there's an NA bracket and an EU bracket. So there's one more NA bracket if you want to get involved and try your shot at it, which I think that everyone should, just to see. You never know how you stack up against the game's best. On League Gaming, that's where you sign up, and that I believe is next weekend. But yeah, so HK qualified, and we'll see how he does and if he can make the LAN. But yeah, so Josh got, I think, knocked into the losers bracket by HK, and then he ended up losing to Canadians, I believe, or Polgs. I can't remember. I honestly didn't see that. It's the same
funny
guys.
about all this. I love that HK won today, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it's great because like he's like the Ben Roethlisberger of esports. He just shows up. I don't even know if he drinks, but he's like, how's this guy stand a chance? He dominates. It doesn't matter. He gets the job done. I always love HK.
Yeah, he's very polarizing in that he either gets absolutely smashed or like, it's a lot like John Wayne, like what he did for the last like 5 years. There'd be times where he would just, I mean, he knocked out Eki in 2019. Like, I remember being there in person at the GWC, like watching him. Like, it was just, anyways, I love NHL esports, 1v1 esports, and 6v6, but 1v1 is always going to be my favorite thing to watch when the games, when you see the best versus the best. It's always, especially when it's for a lot of money, it's always fun.
Yeah, it is. Rumpel asks, pizza pockets or pizza pops? What is a pizza pop?
All right, so he's Canadian. So a pop is, I want to say it's like, if you took a piece of bread, it's like breading, or dough. It's dough. And it's basically, it looks like, it's like a rectangle, I guess would be the way and it's got like cheese inside and sauce. It's like a pizza, almost like a calzone, but like a small one that you microwave. And a pizza pop, or a pizza pocket, which is, I always confuse me because I feel like a pop would be is like the circular, like puck-like one that I feel like you guys have. Americans definitely have pizza pockets.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a pocket guy, by the way.
The pop sounds better.
Yeah.
The pop sounds also like a better hot pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a pocket guy.
Yeah, I like the little puck one, the little circular one. Looks like a UFO.
Oh, interesting. I gotta try.
Pepperoni one. It slaps. Canada. Yeah, it slaps.
Yeah. So let's see. Leo Remus asked, do you guys think there should be more cards or MSPs available? One of the things I loved about MLB was the pure amount of different options available. Even if all the cards feel the same, I'd love to have more options to choose from. Yes, I think that's something I'm noticing this year, right? Because like events are coming out, and there might be 1 to 2 cards max that I actually want. I wouldn't mind seeing a lot more MSPs because it's not like you can have all of them on your team, right? So it's not like everybody will have the same choices. Now, with how it is, there's usually like 1 to 2 meta cards that come out, and those are the cards you see whenever you play Rivals or Hut Champs. If there were a lot more MSPs, I think you'd see more team variety. What do you think, Sleeves?
I'm trying to think. So, like, in comparison to MLB, I think there's more at NHL. So, what happens in MLB is that they release Team Affinity, where every team gets a master set player, essentially. And they usually last for about 6 weeks to 2 months, and then they do a second one. And so, like, each time there's 30 guys being released, like top-end guys. But really only, like, 5 to 7 of them are, like, guys you would put on a very good team. Whereas, like, there's 8 every week for NHL, every 2 weeks. So, like, 8, 16. So, a month, there's 32. Every month, there's, like, 32 cards that are, like, top tier at the time. Because, like, all of these cards are among the best in their position. Like, even this event, like, Chikrin, Carlson, we listed it off, and they would still make the third page. Maybe not Carlson.
Yeah.
But they're among the best in their position. What I would love it is if they just stopped with, like, there's just no innovate. Again, we're going to complain about HUD, but there's no innovation in Hockey Ultimate Team. Like, I'm so sick of the format of Primetime and Team of the Week. It means nothing. Those cards mean nothing. The only reason that we get excited for them is, hey, does my X Factor get an upgrade? Or now Team of the Year. It's just, like, lame. Like, I liked it when, I think Nick was trying this last year, when it was, like, after the NHL Moments event, it was, like, 1 a day, and it was like a special NHL Moments card highlighting a random event from a random day. Like, I think that was cool. Because that's what MLB does. Like every Friday they release like a headliner, and it's like a special card that you could get in a pack, and you have a guarantee or a higher chance to pull it in that. But even that card isn't like super powered. But some of them are cool and they're rarer. But like I don't know. Like I hate going to my collection and seeing 7 different Nikita Kucherovs or something. Like that's just lame. I hate it. No, change it, dude.
I'm guessing it's lame, Sleeves.
It sucks.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get in any more in this because I'm trying to stay positive now. Maze has a question. Oh, sorry. Campone has a question first. 2 tough questions. You have said in the past that weight affects balance and puck control, even though there is a balance and puck control stat. Is it a two-way street? Does weight affect speed or acceleration? Example, Yager at 230 pounds, one of the heaviest players in the game. Do you definitely know what the aggression stat for a skater does?
So when it comes to it shouldn't it should if we're being like if we in reality it should. But
Physics based, speaking like scientific.
yes, like
right?
scientifically it should. I'm pretty sure in the game it does not.
Yeah.
Like that's why bigger players are always better. Like in comparison, like that, why smaller players in the in the video game just don't hold up. In terms of like the balance stat and puck control stat, that's with the puck on their stick, whereas weight and height will impact. When you get bumped, that is what impacts that. Height and weight impacts that. So the bigger, the taller and heavier, less about the weight, more about the height. It appears, or at least it's been said.
I agree, yeah.
You don't get that stumble animation, like.
Well, it's kind of unfair then. Like, I never really thought about it this way that, 99 speed Rantanen would be the same speed as 99 speed McDavid,
That's
right?
the problem with Hut.
Right?
That's always going to be.
But 99 balance McDavid isn't the same as 99 balance Rantanen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a
Doesn't make
problem. It's a problem with that. But that isn't like. This is probably the most difficult thing about an NHL video game that I don't like. It's not just on EA. Like I don't know how you would fix that because there is no sport that it's more difficult to make in terms of motion capture than and hockey, because not only is your body going 4 different directions, like is your arms, legs, shoulders, hips, like they're all rotating different ways, but then you have a stick, like an object controlling a puck. It's not like the NFL where like the ball is in your arms and like it's just your body and you're much slower. You're not you know what I mean? You're just running. Same with soccer. Like it's simply just much more difficult to make as a motion capture, which is why, I don't envy their job because it's very difficult to make a game that's realistic in that sense.
Yeah. The aggression stat, I think it's the type of hit that they'll deliver. I might be wrong, but like higher chance of getting a boarding penalty called against you. I'm not sure if elbowing penalties are still in the online like competitive modes like Rivals and Hut Champs. But higher aggression stat, I believe, led to more elbowing penalties in the past. Is there anything else, or am I wrong, Sleeves?
Hang on. I think that's aggression. I did a video at the beginning of the year where I went over I went and talked to like Ben about every single attribute and got like him to tell me what it was. I don't know why I didn't. Like I have them all here. I'm seeing here. I don't have aggression. But I know discipline affects the likelihood of being called for a stick infraction by controlling the tension on your stick when it impacts how a player is with their elbow, and it also impacts carelessness with the elbow on hits and stuff. So if you have a very low discipline stat, it does impact the game, which is kind of crazy, which you might not know. But if you have a player that's getting like charging penalties and things like that, go and look at their discipline stat. Aggression, I don't know why I don't have it written down here, because I went through every single one. I'm not sure as to why I don't have that. But discipline is the one you're thinking of in terms of aggression. I think aggression's offline completely. I think it's an offline.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'd be nice if there was a thing inside of the game itself that explained everything about an attribute.
There is in World of Chel.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was about to complain, but it looks like
it's just in the mode that they care about. Not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Maze has a couple questions.
Yeah.
When you're diving to intercept a pass or block a shot, and I skate over that guy, it should be a tripping call 100 out of 100 times. I've had some discussions with Ben about this, but would like your guys' opinion. Because if you're diving too early, it should be some kind of punishment if I can skate over him and he takes my legs out. Um, so I'm going to answer this question first before I move on to the next part of the question. So I think if you dive early and you establish like this is where I am, you're establishing position, right? And you skate over that guy, I don't think it should be a tripping call.
I don't think it
I
is in
think
the
you have
real
a
thing.
it's not right. Like you have enough time to react to the dive, to where you can go around him. You can do a saucer pass if necessary. You can take the shot. Um, I think, and that's also like on a development standpoint, that has to be really hard to program, right?
Uh,
Um,
the thing of it in the real NHL is if someone dive, the reason I can talk about this, Brent Burns dives on every 2-on-1. If you dive, as long as you hit the puck first. So in a lot of instances, if someone dives and you're skating towards the net, like say you cut into the middle, almost always the puck is gonna be out in front of you. So in a lot of instances, the puck is gonna hit that player first, and then you're gonna get tripped, which is probably why you're not getting a penalty. Because in most cases, when you run over someone close enough, it is a penalty.
yeah, in a lot of cases in the game. He asks, has Hill to die on, right? Like cheese dies on the Chicago deep dish pizza. He was I forget who asked that question or who made that comment a couple weeks ago. Does EA have any competitive integrity at all when it comes to pokes? Does EA really care anymore about how broken the pokes are? Um, what are some other GC and your own opinions on them? And has your opinion changed now? It's so unrealistic. So my opinion actually has changed a little bit now. I do think they're a little bit overpowered,
I think
but good
shutdown is
rights.
overpowered.
Yeah, but good right stick movement with your player counters the pokes. I went
Yes.
over this in a and I you probably did too in a video I posted on YouTube. I forget what the title of my YouTube video was. It was on breakouts and like the neutral zone and stuff, but I do have a few minutes on there. Right stick movement entering the zone because that's most of the time where the poke check breakups come.
Mm-hmm.
Once they poke, it's auto locked on to where the puck is, right? So if you move your right stick, they're not going to be able to get a successful poke unless they have shutdown or that other X factor stick them up, right? So I don't. Yeah, they might be a little too overpowered, and they probably shouldn't be auto aimed. If they weren't, there's probably a lot of 11-7 games or something like that, right?
It
If
would
poke
be
check,
bad. You would.
it would be bad. Yeah, I mean, I would adjust, but it'd be bad for a lot of people.
I think that this year has definitely made the defensive skill stick almost the least impactful it's ever been. So like before the defensive skill stick, when you could manually move your stick in whatever way, like the wiggle stick and all of that, like like in the prior games, because it auto locks so hard and shutdown's a thing, you just tap R1. Don't aim it because it tracks it itself. Yeah, so Kessler talked about a lot. Moving your right stick with the puck is how you counter that, or just back skate into the zone. If you spent, just did a video on this, in terms of like using the L2 and half spins. I just played somebody that lived on R1. It is the easiest way to get tripping calls because if you are doing a half spin and they hit R1, obviously your back is to them. It's almost always a tripping call. So
Yeah, and I bet they're not going to keep tapping R1, right? So you have some easy zone entries after that.
Yep.
His final off-topic question, Maze had one. If you could travel anywhere on the Earth or space, where would you go and why?
Space would freak me out. Wouldn't want to go to space.
Yeah, probably lonely, right? I don't want to go with like Bezos or like Elon Musk. I feel
Yeah,
like they
like
wouldn't be good
yeah,
company.
your company would be
Um,
weird.
so we went, my wife and I, well, where we got engaged, we went to Paris. That was amazing. We spent like 8 days or 7 days in Paris, like best vacation I've ever been on. So I think because we've done that already, we really want to go to Ireland. I think it'd be fun to like rent a car, hit up a lot of like bed and breakfast and like drive like, wherever. So I think that's like my ideal one right now.
I would my family, like my grandmother and my dad were both born in a place called Edinburgh, Scotland. And I'm just like it's so gloomy. Like, Europe is just very gloomy. I'm not like I love sun. Like I could never live in Seattle.
Mhm.
That I would also love to see like Abu Dhabi once. Like
Yeah,
dude,
it'd
I
be
just can't
interesting,
imagine
right?
a city that's like literally just billions. Like you know what I mean? Like there is no slum. Like it is just like
Well, the slums are close, right? Or do they do a good job of keeping like because
I
it's
honestly
an
don't
evil
know.
city.
Like
It's an evil city
it's
sleeves,
awful.
right?
It's like literally just yeah. It's like it's literally just like so archaic in the sense that like, the people that are
Yeah,
rich there just will, always push down the like less rich. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's I think that'd just be a cool place to be. Fiji
that's a
too.
good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Abu Dhabi's like a very Blade Runner esque place.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's record an episode of Coffee and Chel in Abu Dhabi.
We're gonna need some more
Um,
downloads, brother.
only another million downloads. That's it.
Yeah.
Um, Sam Baum asks, "Hey guys, love the podcast. Thank you, Sam. What are your thoughts on EA messing up the console migration for players as they've not gotten their diamond packs or power up collectibles?" Sam, it looks like that issue's been resolved. I think I was streaming Friday or Saturday, and people were like, "Oh, I just got my,
Yeah.
pack." So,
If it's
uh,
not, contact EA help. But that was a known issue. It looks like it's fixed now.
yeah. I really like this next question. Jacob Pranks. It seems that like no one is creating Hut Champs cards. Yeah, because it sucks. I added that. I know most people say the smart plays use Champs collectibles to make power up collectibles, and the gamblers of our community use their Champs collectibles on Ultimate Choice packs. However, I've been hoarding my Champs collects to build a high end Champs card at some point in the future. The cost to make a high end Champs card is going to be very expensive. For example, it's currently 24 collectibles to make a 93
Is
overall
it?
Champs
Oh
cards,
my god.
which equals a 600,000 coin value, assuming a power up collectible price of 25K. That said, do you think high end champs cards are going to become unicorns in the game due to the fact it seems like everyone is using up all of their champs collectibles every week? What can EA do to make champs cards more desirable? Jacob, also, I want to say, Jacob, you speak in such an analytical and intelligent way, the way you wrote your question. Thank you very much. Not that other people don't, but like, he's, assume like I love the way you type, Jacob. Um, yeah, it's weird because like the last few years or ever since Hut Champs was introduced, those cards have only gone to the top 20 players, right?
Yep.
Um, and now they've assigned this coin value which nobody's using because people are using them on power up collectibles. I I don't know how to solve it. I think what Jacob's doing is could be a really good choice in the sense that once like 95 or 96 overall champs cards are out, um saving up those collectibles if it's like a similar cost to get them to the max overall, there could be some crazy good cards that nobody will have,
I think that
right?
GWC hopefuls, I've said this like since like November, is that they should just be saving that because you could essentially get like a 96 overall player for GWC for free.
Yeah.
That I'm assuming with the sense that they probably like if you are someone that is getting top 100 every single week, you are probably playing all of your rivals games and you're probably getting enough to make all of your collectibles that you need to upgrade X Factor cards. But yeah, dude, like the majority of people, what I think should probably happen is that you should have to spend Hut Champs collectibles to make a card like an 86, and then you could upgrade it with coins or
Power
power
up
up collectibles.
collectibles.
Yeah,
I think you can use coins on the Hut Champs cards. I
you might
might
be
be
able to.
wrong
Yeah,
though.
you might be able
But
to.
it's so weird because I haven't even looked at those
I don't
cards.
ever. I
Because
never look. I did at the beginning of the
and
year because it was like they had an advantage, like because there was no very
yeah.
good. Like I remember I made Jonathan Dolan,
Hmm.
but then he just gets replaced, like because they're very even in line with like everything else.
Yeah, and if we were talking about how weird the MSP choices have been, the Hut Champs cards,
So they're
I don't even know
even
what to put
way.
in
Like,
there.
yeah, they're way out
It's
there.
it's like the weird part of the internet.
Yeah.
Like it's just yeah, no idea what's going on. Um, Ellis's Bay, I think that's it. New to the podcast, love it so far. Do you guys do team reviews at all, or have any plans for that in the future? Like dissecting people's rosters and maybe give their coin balance collection to help give any recommendations. Would be cool to see. Would be cool to see how you guys go about building your team up and all that. I'll answer this first before he sleeps. I personally don't like so like I have my own Discord server where if people reach out, I'll answer questions or whatever. In general, especially whenever I'm streaming, I don't like to do it because I think there is an ideal way to build a team, an ultimate team, and I always am open to talking about that, right? I think if you're not building, or if your goal is a competitive way, there's one way to build a team. If you're not playing that way, and I don't suggest that unless you're like the top 5 to 10% of that community, you should only use the cards and players you like, and you shouldn't worry about making the ideal team. You should play it for enjoyment. So
Nailed it.
I tend to stay away from those.
Yep, nailed it.
Anything you want to add there?
No, dude, I agree. I think that I used to do this thing called Team Build Tuesday, where like every night I host a stream where I would literally just for my subs just do it. I don't do it anymore because I don't enjoy. It's almost like I make so many videos going over the best card, like every card that comes out. If you're watching those, you should get a sense of like you said it exactly. There's a type of card competitively that you would want that you should
And I feel like if you watch our content, you know
yeah,
what to
you
do,
would
right?
yeah, exactly kind of thing. I'm just not a big fan of it. Like in my stream, I made like a 30-minute cooldown on it because like if I didn't, everyone just wants their team reviewed and who they should go after and be told who they should get next. And I get that you don't want to spend and waste your coins on a card that isn't good. My Discord, for example, Kessel has one as well. I've got like I think there's like 2,500 guys in there, and if I'm not gonna answer or if I don't have time to like get to everybody, like you'll get someone that like talks hot all day long in there. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that was the last
all right,
question
man.
on Reddit. Yes,
Longer
it was.
one, dude. Longer episode today, guys. Well,
Yeah.
always fun, my man. And dude, we're on episode 15. Here we are, man. It's almost GWC season. I'm excited I'm excited for GWC because we can start talking. Like today, we got to talk events about Tampa and whatnot, but it's gonna start heating up, man. I'm excited for that because
It's a whole other world whenever that starts up.
I can't
leading
wait.
into it, people are gonna start creating the little Discord servers.
Oh
to
yeah,
run
dude. The
scrims.
bios, the Twitter bios.
The Twitter bios. There's gonna be some sort of drama where somebody gets banned.
Oh yeah, it's been real. Have a good one, guys.